Hi guys, Tony here with another NASSP video. This is going to be a video series on how the entire spacecraft works in this flight sim. First and foremost, if I get anything wrong, please be more than happy to comment below. If I missed anything, please let me know. I will clarify it in either a comment or a future video in a topic. Um, uh, Number one tip, in my opinion, for this flight sim is number one, going through a lot of the old documentaries and other things, just listening to a lot of the audio. There are a lot of the old checklists and handbooks that NASA have digitally copied and put them pretty much online. You can find them, in my opinion, just about everywhere. You just gotta sit down and type in them correctly. I'll put a couple that I like reading in the comments or the description. So let's get this pepo going. First off, it's going to be the EMS, which is this big bulky thing. Now, this is pretty much used as a measurement system. EMS literally means entry measurement system. This is mostly primarily used for major maneuvers and minor maneuvers, plus reentry, thus the name reentry measurement system. A lot of the burns you're going to sit down and originally they were um, uplinked to the command module. Plus, I believe Houston would actually call out how much delta velocity is needed for their set burn and stuff like that. Maneuvering from S4B SEP and docking to the lunar module. This is also used for the delta velocity range is pretty much set to negative 100. I do think I have a docking video for separation and docking or transportation. If I can talk right now, transportation. Screw it. TND. um, so pretty much what panel one is a giant. This is where the commander sit during the mission. This is pretty much how the whole flight, the whole spacecraft is pretty much maneuvered. Next, a lot of communication between the pilot and, the commander and the pilot. Well, command module pilot did command the, fly the CSM briefly, but a lot of it is just going to be how the spacecraft can actually be controlled properly, depending on what is it being required to do. Some of it reverts to the FDAI or Flight Director and Attitude Indicator, which is pretty much a attitude indicator or NABL if you prefer. You got a couple of different options here. Let me unpause. You got a couple of different options. You got 5 to 1, which is the low setting. You got 5 to 3, which is mid scale, and 5 to 5, which is literally the whole zoomed out. If you picture it like a big painting. So next switch is pretty much 1 and 2 both. Then just 2, then just 1. So how this would actually look. If we were actually flying this thing in orbit and in space, this one would look as is, and this would be the current attitude of the spacecraft. Number one would be just this one, quite standard. This is just adjust the indicator on how it is read. Manual manual attitude is just how you can control the spacecraft and telling the computer, this is what I do not want you to mess with. Pictures actually done during launch and T&D. Currently in the launch scenario. Pause that so we don't get bugged. On the right of it is going to be limit cycle, ATT dash deadband max minimum rate scale, yeah, to trans counter. Again, this is how the spacecraft is pretty much controlled. Going from RCS this time. Rotational control power. This is pretty much in space. If you wanted to control the spacecraft manually, just by you, especially with the computer, you would typically have the first two AC and DC 1 and 2, both in the up position, and this two left alone. I'm pretty a little rusty. Might be wrong on this. This is how it's done throughout a lot of the mission. If you want to intercept how the spacecraft is actually controlled away from the launch vehicle, of course, this is just the command module and the lunar module in dock formation, or just the command module, or just the command service module. However, if that's your fancy. BMAG mode, a little rusty on this. I'll include a documentary here. Let me Google this. Big old Apollo dictionary I will include on the whatchamacallit. Well, it's not dictionary, it's glossary. I misspoke. Yes, BMAG. It goes in APT order, alphabetical. Okay. Oh, body mounted attitude gyro. So this is the gyroscope, pretty much how the spacecraft is controlled by gyros. So right next to the BMAG mode is the SPS thruster thrust direct on. This, if you were just the command service module in orbit or in space, you can sit there and flip it. Right now, it won't do anything because we're attached to the launch vehicle. But in orbit, you can actually flip that and fire the SPS. Oh, we got these two switches. Very important. One is CMC. I can't remember what CMC stands for the life of me. Should have done a lot more studying, but I did not. CMC. It's pretty much two modes of command module computer and SPS. I believe SPS is pretty much manual control. I'm going to double check on this. That's why I love having dual monitors. It's just so much easier to do this type of thing on. SES, excuse me. Stabilization and control system. So it's going to sit there and let you control manually, assisting CMC mode auto. So if this was flipped up just as is, CMC mode, it just allows the only the computer can pretty much fly. You would typically use this with verb 49. So just you type in your data that you wanted to adjust your attitude with by using verb 21 through 25 to get out of that mode. So that can only be controlled using that. Hold, attitude hold is pretty much kind of holds the tells the computer that it has to stay in that attitude unless being told otherwise. And free just lets you do whatever you want with the spacecraft. Doesn't really matter on what the situation is. It just lets you fly it, and this can be done in CMC and SCS. Okay, down to the delta velocity thrust. There's A and B. Not 100% sure on the uses of these two switches. Pretty sure one is for short term, one is for long term. But if you were doing a burn, you would typically have A up first for a short burn. This is usually a mid course correction burn use. Then you would hit the B, hit proceed on the diski, and away you go with your burn. SES CUV, this is, controls SES. SPS gimbal monitors. This monitor is monitored on the launch vehicle. Tank press. It's also used for pitching yaw. Okay, bottom row. IMU cage. Low rescue on that switch. Entry mode. So you got two entry mode switches under that category. One is re-entry roll or EMS roll. That allows you to actually control the spacecraft during re-entry because you're going to need to roll to control your descent. 0.5 that I believe you would switch that on to when this is like I said, I'm a little rusty on that. On some of these, so let me know if I forget something or get something wrong. I'll just make sure I say it in the comment or the next video I come out with. LV, SPS, IND, so that's that. This controls on what this reads, TVC, gimbal, drive, pitch, yawn, that's it. To auto, again, that's that. Okay, going to side from this row. Depth of velocity, CGLM, CSM. So this is how you would tell the systems that you're docked. If you weren't docked, you just hit on the CSM. You wouldn't include on those two. ELS logic. Give me a second. So that's the Earth landing system. So that's pretty much if you're coming in from reentry. CSM propellant. This is pretty much dump and a purge on off. This is protected by a cage. So this is pretty much your last 50,000 feet to dump your command module propellant. because your service module would have been pretty much burnt up in the re-entry. So, below that is going to be a event timer. So for the DET or digital event timer or ET event timer. And I think that this is used for realignment for IMU. This is THC, no, something like that. But in worst case scenario, you can actually flip this, and it will abort the command module away from the pad. This is also used for later aborts, mode 1, in all cases of aborts. This is also used for adjusting the LV and the SBSIND. I forgot about these. These are also nicknamed as the abort panel. So one's for launch, one is for the LES mortar fire, so that ejects the LES. If this doesn't work. Command service module, launch vehicle separation, apex cover. This is just very basic separation from the launch vehicle itself. So, also nickname. I mean, it's mainly for abort, but it's also used for other purposes. In case something went down or didn't work right, or in TND, this is always used every single time. Command module and launch vehicle separation. I think that's pretty much it. If I forget anything, if I'm not good at this, let me know. I know I'm not very good at doing some of these videos. I will admit that. But I try my hardest. But let me know if I didn't cover everything. Let me know if I'm being a little too vague, and I know for a fact I'm being a little bit too vague. And I'll clear some of the confusion up hopefully in future videos by demonstrating how these systems will work and work together and this and that and blah blah blah. Thank you for watching, you guys. I hope you guys learned something a little bit more about this beautiful flight sim. Like I said, if I left anything out, just let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.